So, Annie, Starkid's Star Wars parody, came out 5 years ago. It was, and definitely remains, Starkid's most divisive show, and also their least popular, with less than 800,000 views. Recently, it's starting to get discussed more, and people are asking a lot of questions. Is Annie too specific a parody to understand? Is Annie actually Starkid's funniest show? Is Annie Starkid's worst show? Or is it actually their unappreciated gem? But one question that I never see asked is Annie even a musical?
I think we're ready now. I think we're ready to go.
So back in 2014, people were kind of angry at Starkid. Not like actually angry, but I think it was the first time that fans weren't just overwhelmingly supportive in their latest venture. And it was a weird time. There were a lot of complaints lodged against Annie for various reasons. Some people didn't get the show because the jokes were too specific.
We're just friends.
Yeah, we're just friends. I'm old enough to be her father-in-law.
Other people were upset about the split cast between Annie and Trail to Oregon. But the biggest problem at the time seemed to be the music. The characters didn't sing, like, not at all. Now, this complaint seems to have died down. In fact, there's a large contingent of Starkid fans who adore the music from Annie, and even think it's their best. But I'm not here today to argue whether the music is good or not, or even whether the show is good or not. I'm here to decide if it's actually a musical. And that leads me to a lot of other questions. Questions like, is the music in Annie diegetic or non-diegetic? Queen of Video Essays, Lindsay Ellis, talks about the question of whether music in musicals is diegetic or not in her video on the Phantom of the Opera movie, and comes to the conclusion that it depends. Basically, diegetic elements are things that are part of the world of a story, while non-diegetic elements exist outside of this world. So a Starkid example of a diegetic song would be Cho's song from a Harry Potter musical.
I play guitar, and I conquer that dragon's heart with it, so I think I can conquer yours.
In the story, there's an explanation that Harry wrote the song for Cho. An example of a non-diegetic song would be Granger Danger. There's no explanation to why Ron and Draco are suddenly singing. I think this question goes further than just diegetic or non-diegetic. In musicals, there's a whole spectrum of how songs are used within a show. On one end of the spectrum, there are songs that are very literal, that represent specific scenes or conversations.
Why should you want to know? Don't you mind about the future?
This type of song is mostly found in musicals that are sung through, aka shows that are mostly song and little dialogue. Think Jesus Christ Superstar or Sweeney Todd.
Lately all our neighbours' cats have disappeared.
On the other end of the spectrum, there are songs that are purely abstract.
And another 100 people just got off of the train.
They represent emotions or ideas and can often be found in so-called concept musicals. Think Company or Spring Awakening.
Now save in heaven or Bethlehem.
Most musicals will fall somewhere in between these axes and contain multiple types of songs. This is the case with most Starkid shows. Now, a play or a movie with music doesn't necessarily mean that that play or movie is a musical. I mean, I don't think most people would consider something like Bohemian Rhapsody a musical. On the other hand, there are shows where all or most of the songs are completely diegetic, like Hedwig and the Angry Inch, that most people would consider a musical. So the lines are very blurry and the definitions are unclear. I think the general sense of what a musical is, at least a modern book musical, is a play or film where songs are used to tell the story. So where does this put Annie? Well, first things first, all of the songs in Annie are non-diegetic, minus the little portion where they make the Cantina Band part of the show.
You know these guys?
Of course, the old Cantina Band. I swear they get better and better every year.
But the point is, there's no explanation for the songs. However, unlike in most musicals, the characters themselves are not singing. The music functions as more of a soundtrack. The first comparison I thought to make was to Disney's Tarzan. There's original music that is very much part of the movie, but Phil Collins sings it, not any of the characters. Similarly, all of the songs in Annie are sung by the band. While the characters in Annie don't sing, they do participate in the songs by dancing. I quickly want to mention Contact here. Most describe it as a dance play or a play with music. Like Annie, the characters don't sing, but participate in the songs through dancing. The big difference here is that the songs in Contact are not original, and they're not performed live. To me, this makes the show not count as a musical. Tarzan, on the other hand, does not contain any dancing, and I think this is because of editing. Through editing, film has the ability to show multiple locations or longer periods of time very quickly. Many of the sequences in Tarzan that take place over an extended period of time are montages set to Phil Collins' music. Theater does not have this luxury. So, on stage, especially in musicals, rapid passage of time or changes in location are shown in more abstract ways, like through dance numbers. Take, for instance, the song The Force.
Oh, you got it. Oh, you got it. Oh, you got the force.
Clearly, Annie's training takes longer than 2 minutes and 45 seconds. In a movie, this could be shown through editing with a Rocky-style montage, but on stage, this is shown through dance. I think if Annie were a movie, the dancing would be completely redundant, because everything that it represents could be achieved through editing. On the flip side of this, I also think that's one of the many reasons why the stage version of Tarzan, which yes, I did see on Broadway, was so strange. Both of these examples are essentially trying to achieve the same thing, but they go about it using the unique tools of their medium. Where does this land us? Is Annie a musical? I would say, kind of. It is a musical in that the music is used to tell the story, and I think it maybe gets a pass on the characters not singing by having them dance, but it's certainly not a traditional musical. No matter what you think of Annie, you have to admit that it took some big risks. And honestly, the idea we have today of a musical is pretty new. It's an ever-evolving medium, and whatever your opinion is of the show, it's pretty cool that Starkid is a part of this evolution.
I think you're ready now. I think you're ready to go.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I post a new video. Bye!